Okay, it's December 16th, and we are battling cactus again today out in the field. In fact, I'm getting ready to bury some that I've already kind of scraped off the surface. And we've been doing this now for, well, we started probably about a year ago, clearing cactus off the property. And it's been a pain in the butt. It's time consuming, it's tedious. Got to dig a lot of holes to bury it, and it just takes a lot of time. So anyway, just a short video of where we are, what we're doing. Got a lot of stuff I want to do, but time usually doesn't allow for it. We've worked a little bit of this area right here. This needs to be drug and needs to have the soil turned over, flattened out where all the bucket marks are from digging out cactus. And I said this before, if you've got cactus growing on your property, stop it now, because you don't want this mess. I actually think the cactus is worse than mesquite. The mesquite, of course, mesquite trees, they multiply anytime one of the cows or the donkey or any animal or bird eats the seeds out of the mesquite pods. And of course, whenever they dump it out on the property, you pretty much got a fertilized seed and it grows. And I guarantee you don't want that. This cactus, you can spray it and it takes up to 3 years to kill it. Cactus is tough. It's got a tough skin on the petals. And the problem with it, like I've said before, is if the petals break off, that's a brand new plant. So every petal that breaks off, you're starting a whole new plant. And cattle walk in it, they get it stuck in there right above their hooves, and they walk around with it until it finally falls out, and you got a brand new plant. That's how it gets spread. Not something you want on your property. Anyway, we got that. I've got some feeders I want to get put out. It's not for deer, not for deer hunting. It's basically just wildlife feeders. We've got a lot of turkey, wild turkey, and I love having turkey on the property. And the more that the area gets invaded by new homes and businesses and everything else that are moving out to the country to get away from city taxes, it sends these animals out of their normal habitat and into new places. And so anyway, that's just the plan for that. And other than that, just trying to get rid of this cactus the best that I can. Best way to do it is to bury it, and the best practice is to leave it anywhere from 2 foot to 18 inches below the surface. So you've got to dig out a pretty good sized hole to take your cactus. And so far, none of it's come back. That we buried about a year ago, it hasn't come back. And we got a little bit of rain finally here in South Texas, and that it wasn't enough to penetrate very deep. It's just enough to keep the dust down on the surface. And I figured we'd take advantage of that. It's been so blasted dusty Problem we got here, about 12 inches below the surface, there's a good clay layer, and it makes it, when it's dry, it makes it very, very hard to dig. And you can see off in the distance, back out that way, you can see where we've already cleared. Got green grass coming back up through it already. It makes a big difference. This hasn't been plowed or the soil turned up in years. And what happens is the soil gets compacted and it just won't grow anything except weeds. So that's what we're trying to do now. And if we came in here and if we plowed with it, with the cactus in there, all we're going to do is spread the cactus, make the cactus about 1,000 times worse. On the other deal too, got the camera mounted in a different place here in the cab, and I'm just curious what the best position, what everybody likes, over the shoulder, where you can see part of the inside of the machine, and or if you like the directly on the windshield, where you don't get a view of the inside of the machine, but you can see a little bit better what's going on outside. So far, nobody's commented. Nobody's said anything. This gets monotonous digging these holes. It just... Actually, it's trenches. And the other thing I found too, I was doing this with a 3-foot bucket, 36 inch, and I've kind of found that digging it with the 18-inch bucket is actually a lot easier, less wear and tear on the machine, not digging such a wide area at one time, and when you're scraping the cactus up, of course, it takes way less of the soil when you're digging it up. But this cactus has been a pain, and it's spread throughout the property. Unfortunately, it should have been dealt with years and years ago, and we just didn't do anything about it, and now it's kind of caught up. we are expecting more rain tomorrow. And it's like I said, for a 5-foot deep trench, only 3 feet of it is usable for burying cactus. In order to leave that 24 to 18 inch, or 18 to 24 inch soil above it. The main thing is to pack it in when you drive the machine over it a few times and get the soil packed down on it. Once the soil's packed down, that cactus is not going to come back up through it. This machine has been ideal for this. Couldn't have done it with just a tractor. And there's a lot of things that I'm finding out that the excavator is way more efficient than the tractor. It's cut down the use on the tractor by far. I mean, the sad thing about it is tractors are they're limited. They're light duty, working off the front of them with a front end loader or anything like that. They can only do light duty work. They're just not built to take any type of digging abuse like what you're getting with this, with an excavator. Just like I said, I got to dig out pretty much about 4 times the amount of dirt that of the pile, due to the fact that I can only fill the hole so much, and then I've got to put this soil back in. A lot of clay down there. I'll just pretty much clean this out and go ahead and start putting back in the soil with that has the cactus in it. I think that's good enough. We'll just start taking some chunks or scoops and putting them over in there. Mostly dirt. That's what's sad about it. You get so much dirt in it, but there's really no way to efficiently get that cactus out of that dirt. So it pretty much, a lot of good topsoil gets buried. hole fills up really quick. See, there's cactus mixed all in this. Lay down. The thing is too, you're never going to get all of it, not at one time. They'll have to do maintenance on this field for a while, and then I want to go back. I want to plant it, go back and put. At one time, this field had was planted in coastal Bermuda, and I want to go back to the Bermuda. Simply due to all the temperature, the high temperatures that we have, and a lot of times the lack of rain. It actually does pretty well in these conditions. And we actually had planted this in Medio blue stem, but it just never did any good. It never took off. And I'll start raking some of that into the ends of the trench. We'll get it knocked down and start packing it. Going to have a little less than 2 feet here, but like I said, anywhere from 24 inches to 18 inches, and I've even had some of it end up less when I overpack the trenches, and the cactus has never come back up. Only thing about this method I don't like is you end up with a lot of, you have a whole lot of leftover soil, and a lot of this is, like I said before, it's clay, and that's not good for the top. But what I try to do is try to get a mixture of it. We'll go down it now and pack that trench. Then we'll start spreading the leftover. And if by chance it doesn't rain tomorrow, I'll come out here and start dragging this. Any low places we have, they'll get filled in when we drag it. And the other thing, we got terraces out here, and it usually when you do something like this, it doesn't mess with the terraces. I try to leave a little bit of extra dirt so that when this does settle, there's enough there to fill in. But you're not gonna, like I said, a lot of this will be spread out in a wider area. And we'll start going down it now and spreading it. Nice thing about it is it's loose, it's easy to spread. We've got a homemade rake. It's kind of a leveler and a rake combined that you drag over it, and it does a real good job of breaking up this dirt and spreading it. As you can see, there's quite a bit here to spread. There's sadly, this is one of the things that has to be done. When you have a farm, you have cattle, and so forth. You either pay somebody to do it or you do it yourself. And it's not, at first, this is it. You think it's kind of fun doing this, what I'm doing right now. But it gets monotonous when the hours go by and you're getting very little done, and you're making slow progress. It's just not a lot of fun. I'd rather be doing other stuff than doing this. I'm not going to get this perfectly level because we're going to come back with a tractor with a rake behind it, and it'll level it out real nice. And it's just, main deal here is to get these large, the higher mounds down to help with that raking process. Just about through with this part of it. one more pass right here. What I'm going to do is back up against the fence over here and kind of mark out the area that I'm going to go ahead and drag tomorrow if it's not raining too heavy. And we got a mesquite right there. A little bit of moisture did help because those mosquitoes are coming out real easy. Of course, they're not real big either. But I'll just set that aside. Okay. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to aim for that electric polo on the other end of the field and just try to make a straight line towards it. And we know that everything to the right what we're going to drag tomorrow.